Alrighty. What's going on, y'alls? Today is Friday, December 6th, 2024. And we're about to do some trading here in a momento. But I gotta turn down this music because it's crazy loud in my ear. Alright. First things first. Always gotta check the economic calendar. So let's jump on in it. Alright. So today, we've already had, looks like we got a lot of reports today. We already had average hourly earnings, month over month and year over year. Looks like average hourly earnings went up roughly 4% year over year. Good job, employers. Actually paying your people what they're worth is worthwhile. It's far more profitable. So hopefully we get more companies that want to pay people more money. But not necessarily raise the minimum wage, because by raising the minimum wage, we raise the cost of everything. But by paying employees more money while keeping the minimum wage kind of where it's at, then we actually develop a middle class. We've got the average working weekly hours. I didn't even know that was a report. We got government payrolls. It's down 5,000, so that's good because we went from 38,000 to 33,000. That means we're ditching roughly 5,000 random government employees that likely do very little for people, unless those government employees are actually serving those people. We got non-farm payrolls, which is one of our higher important ones. Non-farm payrolls are looking good. They went up 27,000. In the private sector, went down a little bit. Participation rate, what the heck is this? The civilian labor force participation rate is the number of employed and unemployed, but looking for a job as a percentage of the population aged 16 and over. So the participation rate, in which you may or may not get a trophy, remain the same. About 62% of the American population aged 16 or over is actively working or looking for a job. That's pretty crazy to think about. That's actually kind of low in my perspective. If you got 62.5% of the people that are either working or looking for a job that are of working age, that's really low. That means 1/3 of the country is not working, of people who are within that range. So that's kind of crazy to think about. We've got the U6 employment rate, the unemployment rate. Unemployment rate's at 4.2%. That's high as hell. Yo, dude, has the unemployment rate been this high? No. So unemployment rate's been steadily going up since May. 4.2%. Yo, that's pretty high, man. Normally we want to see like in the 3s or even the high 2s. We got used car prices going up again. Month over month, they went up 1.3%. And year over year up 0.2%. We're just coming up on 7 o'clock where we're going to see the 5-year inflation expectations. We've also got the Michigan consumer sentiment. So that's happening right now, and that's a high importance one. Coming up a little bit later today, we've got Fed Goolsby speech. We've got Fed hammock speech. Just picturing some dude in a hammock being like, the economic situation is bananas and coconuts. I don't know. Something weird. We got the oil rig count. We got consumer credit change coming up at 12 o'clock. Big one right now is the Michigan consumer sentiment. And you saw just now we got a spike up to 61.11. We're getting a pullback now on the ES. ES currently sitting up about $18 on the day. Roughly 0.2%. And I just want to address this. Apologies for not being here yesterday, guys. I had food poisoning, super bad. And I was just trying to take care of that. So, but we back. We're good. We had some sleep and some Powerades and feeling all right. Not getting a lot of movement off of that consumer sentiment report. Just go ahead and check in on oil. Oil dropping again today, down at 67.37. If we keep oil below 70 then we should be all right in most places for gas prices. Obviously, if you're in one of the higher tax states, like anything on the West Coast, or anything in the Northeast, you'll likely have a lot higher gas prices, just because a massive portion of that, roughly like 50 to 60 cents a gallon or something, is just going straight to taxes. But we should still be able to keep prices relatively stable. We keep this below $70 a barrel. Once you start getting above $70 a barrel, that's where you start seeing those gas price hikes. Checking in on the RYT, which we only recently started trading this week, and I don't mind it. I kind of like its movement. Currently looks like this one's getting a little bit of a switch here into taking a look on the 1 minute. We're 0.6 from a TTM cyan switch, and also pretty close to getting one on the 10-second side. It's popping up pretty big right now, though. I'd like to see a little pullback. There's VWAP. Or just above it. Okay. Yeah, this looks actually pretty decent. RYT looking decent today. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, is that little pullback right there. I want to see a little bit more. Like I'm looking to grab this crossover here. Gonna jump in.
Order filled.
In at 21.42.
Order filled.
I guess I should have waited a little bit longer for that full pull. Looking to get out at 21.45. These are $5 a contract. Tried to grab another contract there. Get some volatility on this one.
Order filled.
All right, we got that trade. Remember, these are only worth about, like when I take 3 contracts, it's only $15 a tick versus my $37.50 or so that we're taking on the ES. So I might actually bump this up slightly, but we do have a little bit more volatility here on the Russell. So I'm also going to bump up to like a 10 tick, which only equates to $1. So the Russell is an interesting one that I've seen to trade. I kind of like his movement. It's sort of like trading the NASDAQ, but a little bit more predictable, at least from what I felt with it.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
All right, we're in 5 contracts of the Russell, going for 10 ticks. Looking to get out at 24.14. So 5 contracts, 5 times 5, that's 25. I was looking for that crossover there. It's kind of pulling back on me a little bit. I want to see this pop back up. There we go. There's some pop up there. Trying to get it to show my P&L on the bracket here. Forgot to set that up. I'm gonna have to adjust that here after this trade. Broke slightly above 43. Our entrance is 43.10. Or 13.10, sorry. 24.13.10. Go, push. Let's get this crossover. Let's go. We have 13.20 here. I want to see this test 15 again. The 24.15 level.
Order filled. Order filled.
There we go. We got that trade. A little bit of a longer one. Some ops for some better entries there as well. But we're up 322 on the day. Kind of like trading the Russell. It's a little bit more straightforward to me than the S&P these days. Getting some movement there. See if I can get this set up right. Getting a nice pullback there. Okay, here we go. Show estimated P&L in ticks. All right. Bloop. Okay. Looks like we're about to get a, there's that 5,200 cross that we were seeking. Currently on a pullback right now. Might be a decent entry along here. I want to take a look at this on the 1 minute side though. Trying to make sure that we don't end up in a false break. That was a nice spike though. I felt like it could have gone up to 15, which would have been a whole nother $1.80 in move available there. CTM is currently at 0.9. So getting some pullback down to the VWAP right now. Some rejections along the 50 moving average. In fact, if you look at this, we've rejected along the 50 moving average 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But we're kind of popping off the VWAP now. We've got that 5,200. Really, I need to see these the TTM on the 1 minute side start to add in some green dots. So that we can see that buying pressure, you can see right here where this was running green dots, and eventually that buying pressure hit, and then we got this big fat move here, this like $5 range. So that's really what we need to see is this TTM cyan switch. We need to see some buying pressure come in and push this above that 50 moving average, which is the VWAP on the 10-second side. Because we got that 5,200 cross, but without the crossing above this VWAP right here on the 10-second side or the 50 moving average on the 1, it's going to be challenging to see this actually run. Though I do believe that opportunity is available. Gonna look for a cyan switch on the 10-second. Woo! Little pop there. Along here.
Order filled.
I was gonna say I maybe should have waited for a slight bit better entry. In at 1460. I'm looking to get out at 1560. Tried to pull it off at 1520.
Order filled.
Got two, or one of them filled. Still in the trade though. Still have 4 contracts on. Ooh, I don't like that pullback. Too bad we only got 1 contract filled. Wasn't enough liquidity, I guess. I don't really want to cut this, but I probably have to. We got to break through that 2415 zone. The resistance there is a little too powerful. We get one more test of 15, please. Checking this on the 1. It's 1290. I lowered my order, by the way, just down to 1480, so 2 ticks. But that that implies that we could actually get back up above 13 and get towards 15. Kind of struggling along that 50 moving average there on the 10-second side. Thirteen's kind of struggling as well. Yeah, we gotta cut this. Okay, we're out.
Order filled.
That was a pretty large loss. That took our winning day of 300 and put us negative at negative 500. And I got added to another one of these Skype spam groups. Who uses Skype anymore? Maybe I'll just delete Skype off my phone. Okay, sitting down 500 on the day. So obviously we have work to do in order to make that back. So kind of filled it at the bottom, but it's my, where the risk was. I'm gonna take a look at the ES right quick. ES just ranging sideways. Actually, this looks decent on the ES here.
Order filled. Order filled.
Took a quick 3 ticker on the ES, little 100 back. Still got about 400 to retrace on the day. ES looking like it's going to test some highs here. I'm going to join in.
Order filled.
Tapping my sell order.
Order filled.
All right, made another 100 back. Down 307 on the day. We might get a pullback here, but we got this fresh 5200 cross on the ES. ES setting up with a fresh cyan switch with no with red dot, 2 red dots. Didn't get that test of the high, but seemingly tried. So we have a pretty large flag right here on the ES. Made back about 200 bucks of that loss. We let that loss run way too large. So that was from right here. Ran all the way down to here. That's our first loss on the Russell. It's actually our only loss in the day, which we, sometimes have a tendency to do, letting our losses get too large. And taking too small of wins, but we're up, or we're down 307 on the day after fees. So little ways to go. Russell's kind of reversing to the downside at the moment. You can see that we're now below the VWAP and looking like a potential downward cross too. ES being kind of stagnant, just going sideways. And ES almost seems like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not about to do that. It's considering a short, like a scalp short on the ES. And I'm like, nah, it doesn't look right. It's too sideways for that. Oil getting some movement. Big sell off there in oil. What time is it? 7:22. RYT's all the way down at 24.9. Oil looks like it wants to hit lows. And ES going sideways. Seeing the most movement in oil right now. This is why those green dots matter. You can see on this 1 minute TTM here that it was red the entire time on its on the TTM, and as a result of that, never really got the buying pressure to see that push up happen. A lot of people have commented and asked on the channel, what do the green dots mean? What do the red dots mean? And as I've interpreted it, and I've read about it several times, and there's like a whole technical explanation of it. But as I've interpreted it, essentially red is more selling pressure and green is more buying pressure. And that's just sort of how I've interpreted it. Now, that's not the exact definition of it. The exact definition of it is far more technical than that. But from a simplified perspective, that's kind of what I've seen from it. So along these lines, like this to me sort of interprets as there's some accumulation happening here, and here there are some profit taking. Now you could still get this type of volatile movement, like, you know, I mean, these here could be shorts that we're covering from way back here, so. You know, you could still get these like big price moves and price swings during cyan switches and red switches and whatnot, red to yellow switches. But nonetheless, ES pulling down. So I actually was right on that short on ES. If ES drops below 61.05, might be interesting to go short on it. Oil's riding along the bottom. ES popped back up to 61.08. kind of want to go long here. Maybe I should have. I feel like I'm too zoomed in. I'm grateful I noticed that feeling. Sometimes, man, you just get too zoomed in and it's kind of difficult to really take a look at the trade more objectively. All right, so we got some resistance right here. Right at this resistance line. We've broken through that several times, but this is kind of the one that I keep seeing as being consistent. Right around 6108, 6109 area. Russell down here at that support level that we drew. And it's looking like it might get a 5200 cross to the downside. So wait and see on that. Let's see these numbers. We did 9, 14. ES is chopping out. I'm doing very little. Let's see, oil. I hope we get a couple more opportunities. I'd like to turn our red back into green. So we did have a green day. Maybe overtraded a little bit. Not really seeing anything just yet. We do have 7:30 coming up. So about 1 minute at 7:30. Let me check back in on the economic calendar. 7:30 we got the Gosby speech or whatever. So that's coming up soon. Guess we're just kicking back right now. ES is sideways. Oil is riding the low. And the Russell is just riding along this support level moment. I don't really like having that many support levels, support resistance zones, but in fact, I'm going to delete that. I'm also going to delete this one. Less useful in the 10-second to me. Oil might dip below 67. ES hitting that resistance at 6109 area again, 6110. ES is just very sideways and kind of choppy, sort of trading in a range. Oil bouncing off its low at around 67. oil, I want to see the 5200 cross this here on the 10-second side. Then I might get interested in trading it. An alert on oil at 6715. Russell got that cross, the 5200 downside. Still showing it's up a quarter of a point on the day. I think this pullback on it is somewhat temporary. I think that we're going to see some accumulation along this area down here, just above 2400. And then I think that we may see a pushback up above 2410. Taking a look at the 5-minute chart here, this pullback here actually seems reasonable after this surge at the open. So this kind of sell off and taking profit and stuff like that sort of seems reasonable. I think that we'll likely see this accumulation here for a little while, and then we'll see another cyan switch, probably a red to yellow. And when we see that red to yellow, we'll see a surge up and a testing of 2415 area. ES looking like it wants to drop down to VWAP, but keeps kind of bouncing off the 50 or the 200. VWAP's down there at 60.98. Yeah, that seems totally reasonable for the ES. I'm interested in a short here on the ES. Just don't want to see it bounce up on me. We got a 5200 cross on the downside here. We're kind of riding along the 50 moving average of the 1 minute side. But like a short down to like 6100 doesn't really seem out of the question to me. I think I'm just scared to take it for something like that. But when it happens, it'll happen pretty aggressively. Yeah, so this is why I didn't want to take it. Seemed to be a reasonable chance that I could be wrong. 735, getting some spike up in volatility here. Same on the Russell. And there's that yellow that I spoke of. So it's right on that 2407 area, being the kind of the low. 1 minute side getting a cyan switch with a green dot this time. Like to see a pullback to about 2410. I don't know if I'm going to get it. ES also popping up. Russell's a little too pushed up. I actually wanted to see Russell pull back to this right here would have been the entry for me on the Russell. I'm just looking for a pullback entry here. Might miss the move though as a result. I already kind of did. So there's that resistance level that we drew. It's right along that 15 zone. It's looking like we might get a new 50-200 crossover here. I want to see a pullback to like 1270, 13 area, something like that. Like a dollar pullback. I guess there was 1340 right there. A fresh 5200. Hitting a little resistance at 1415 area. Come on, pull back some. Pull back to like 1250. Yeah, it's just running without us. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it just runs without you. Breaking through that 15 barrier. Gonna grab this pullback here.
Order filled.
Bought off of 15. Looking to get out at 16. Maybe I got FOMO. Damn it. I was kind of expecting that to have popped right there. So this pulled back to the 50. This was the pullback I was hoping for back here. One thing I like about stocks is that you can kind of see where orders are, you can somewhat see where orders are sitting. Although a lot of times, you know, the level 2 is sort of mess with, but nonetheless, a lot of times you can still sort of see where orders are sitting. I don't really get that unless I pay for it on futures. We did it again, man. We kind of bought near this high. So we did that last time when we bought at 14 and some change. Still see cyan stacking on the 1 minute side. I think we bought our entry a little too high there. It was 14. There's 15. $15.80.
Order filled.
I pulled that trade out. Glad I did. I think we made around 150 on that. 50 cents. Made 125 on it. Certainly not a great trade. I was right about the move, but not the entry. So we absolutely could have waited for the entry to pull back along this zone. Originally, if you recall, back here, I was saying to look for an entry along 13. I didn't listen to my own advice and bought at 15. Gratefully, we still had an opportunity to get out, not at the full range, but pretty close to it. We got at 15.50 instead of the full dollar that we were going for. But the reality of it is that I should have waited for the full pullback to the 50 moving average. And what I didn't see back here was a pullback to the 50 moving average as being the level. What I did see was the price level being at roughly 13 as the buy zone. And this was right along 1290, 13 area. And that did pop up to 1590, and our intended exit was 16. So we ended up getting out at 1550. So did get 5 ticks on that. But this could have been a much better trade. And certainly for the amount of risk that we had to hold through, I don't really think it was a great trade. It wasn't a bad trade, but it wasn't a great trade either. I just got the alert sound on oil. Oil popping up a little bit. There's a fair amount of sellers right there. Oil spiking slightly. 67.25. Let's see if we can get an entry off of 67.20. I'm going to reduce that down to 18. Nope, 20 was the right spot. Not getting filled on oil. 20 was the right spot.
Order filled.
Got filled at 21. Looking to get out at 25. In 3 contracts on oil. Oil looks to have room to about 6,750. Oil pulling back more than expected on this 5,200 cross. We got 33 buy orders sitting there at 6,715. Seeing a lot more buy orders on oil, but not seeing the push just yet. Even get it. 19 is the highest we can come back to at the moment. Some push. There's 23. Just try to take it off at 23, but it dropped on me. Phil, dude, you're just chilling on there. Try and get out of 22. It popped up to 23, but never filled on me. So my order just kind of sat there. Come on, push up just slightly. Real. So tapped my sell order a couple of times, but never filled it. And so we're just kind of stuck in this trade. Come on. Let me out. It's on our sell order. We need the bid to get up there, though. Gonna ride along 6, 7, 20 or 21. Like I said, 20 was the actual entrance that I should have taken, not 21. Just watching the bid buy ladder.
Order filled.
All right, got a little spike. We got out of that. It was like a $30 profit. You know, nothing to write home about. Just grateful to be green and out of it. So the ES did end up dropping, like we talked about. I mentioned about 6,100 or so being the area for pullback. We pulled back to 6,103. But we got that crossover some time ago there, and you can see how long this took to actually break down. The Russell did end up pushing up to that past that 2415 zone. And what we're really looking for on this Russell here is a 5-minute TTM cross, a 5-minute cyan switch. So you've got this red to yellow move here on the 5-minute. So if we pull back, sort of accumulate along the lines of 2415 area, then we could see a decent spike. Trading for quite a long time today. Down 186 off that one loss, unfortunately, because we took a pretty large loss. You know, it's like 800 and some change. We made 765 in total gross profit today, but we had that one loss at 840. So you see, here's all our trades right here. Switching to the 1 minute on the Russell. We got a new 5,200 cross here on the 1 minute. You can see our last one ran like this. This was at the open, ripped up, and then sort of kind of petered out up there, topped at 24.25. Oil is actually popping up. Certainly dilly-dally for a good long time now. This whole pullback here was kind of sketch. Frankly, that would have been a great buy though, off like 6,715, and then let it run. But like I said, I thought we had room on oil to 6,750, which is right at this 200 moving average, 6,746. So by the way, if y'all chilling, hanging out, man, like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Let me know you're here. Down 186 on the day, but we've been kind of treading water this week. Had some down days, had some up days. You see right here on the week, we're that's today. I think we're a little over 400 on the week, maybe like 500 down. So he's doing what TradeAway does sometimes, it just doesn't load the. Well, I'd love to show you, but apparently I can only load today. I can't even load that. Account's kind of at flat. Trail max is at 1283. Account's only up 77 bucks. The highest point, I think we're close to 51. It's 2418. Russell's popping again. I think I'm getting a little fatigued though, so I might have to stop. Yes, it's kind of starting to make a comeback. Do we have anything else popping on the economic calendar? We had the Fed Goolsby speech. Goolsby. Make a good Halloween character. Could you imagine somebody saying that about your life? You'd make a good Halloween character. So ES did pop up a little bit off that area. 6106, what we're talking about. Went to 6107, 25. So a little 5-tick range. I want to see this pull back again and grab this 5200 as it happens. So that's like waiting for probably 2 more pullbacks. Might get a push in 2 minutes at 8 o'clock. CTM currently at negative 0.8. And this kind of looks like it's ready, like set up to do a little push. Not looking for anything huge, but I honestly would want to see a pullback to 6106, like a 6-tick, 7-tick pullback. One minute to 8. Come on, pull back like a buck. All right, 40 seconds. $30 seconds. And be on this next 1 minute candle. There's a little flag there.
Order filled.
Went long at 675. This popped to 750. Why didn't my trade exit? Oh, because I'm trying to get at 775. Thought I was only at 3 ticks. Apparently I was at 4. Tap my sell. Just keeps tapping it. It's like
Order
at it.
filled.
All right, made 100 back right there. So down 86 on the day. Our current high of the day was like $300. Probably should have walked with that. Well, we absolutely should have walked with that. That was the 8 o'clock push. Like a $1 range, not even 75 cents. So down 522 on the week. Done an okay job of managing risk this week. That largest losing trade was the one that I did today, $840. Certainly, if we just didn't have that, we would have had a really awesome day. Because as far as today is concerned, that was our only loss. We did make $877.50 gross. So that one loss basically ate all our profit on the day, adding that loss plus the commissions. So we had 94.74% profitable trades, only one loss. But, you know, and it was only 4 contracts. One of those was actually filled as a profitable trade. It's just it only filled one of 5, so it's unfortunate. Thinking about that goes back to describing to me the same message that I've learned a lot of times. I don't know how long it'll take me to get it, but cut losers quick. This is running towards 6,750. It's up at 6,740 now. So it did say this had room to about 6,750, or to the 200 moving average, which is now currently at 43 on oil. So, having said all that, I'm gonna walk with a little bit of a loss today. $86, nothing major. I'm gonna have to find a way to balance losses. So here's a issue, is that a lot of times I'll cut that loss and just watch it spike back up, and that happens frequently. And so I'm torn a lot of the time between using stops, or making the choice in some way of being like, okay, where do I actually cut this? Because a lot of times it'll rip down to where my risk level is, and I'm like, all right, I'll cut, and then it'll rip right back up. I'm like, I should have just held, would have been fine. But you never really know that, and so the idea, more or less, is to weigh those odds. So I guess that's a good question for my own self. Is how often, what is the percentage, if you will, of times where it does that sort of, we call it eagle mantis, where it does this like massive drop and then a rip right back up. How often does it do that eagle mantis? And if so, if you happen to be in the trade up here and it does that rip down and you cut it and then it does the eagle mantis play, how, so that really sort of tells me to focus in on that particular play, because that's going to help me understand when I should cut, and when I should hold, and also um, when I should actually just wait for the drop and buy at the bottom anyway. So, some thoughts for my own self. Down 522 on the week. Ultimately, not too bad of a week. Obviously, we want to see wins, but the account is still slightly green. Our account's up 178, so minimal movement. Trail max at 1383. So we still got plenty of trail max to work with, and yeah, we'll get on it next week, and we'll look to make profitable days. Probably go back to our $200 to $300 profit target day, and then walk. Probably just put it at 300, and then just be like, all right, we hit our 300. Peace out. In response to that, though, we may have to set a max loss limit on the day as well, which is a normal risk practice. So, all right, Joe. Having said all that, I will see you back here on Monday. In the meantime, I'll see you in the Discord community, and we'll see you Monday at 6:40 or so. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Get rested and enjoy the day. Peace out for now.